Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, in this video, I want to go over a company called Ocugen. They've recently come out with some favorable news on their COVID vaccine, as well as some good news at their shareholder meeting. So I want to touch base on those things. Then I want to get into their chart and give you my thoughts on it. Plus, there are a couple other nice looking charts that I have my eye on that I want to share with you guys for potential swing trades. Alright, well, if you guys are new to my channel, I like to find short-term and long-term trading and investing opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. I like to find undervalued stocks with high growth potential and talk about all other things that are finance-related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before buying any of these stocks. Now, in the company's recent news, there was an article that says shares of Ocugen were skyrocketing higher because the company's partner, Bharat, excuse me if I'm saying that wrong, but Bharat Biotech received emergency use authorization in India for their COVID vaccine, Covaxin. Investors appear to expect that Bharat's big win for Covaxin in India could translate to success for Ocugen in the United States. On December 22nd, Ocugen and Bharat announced a binding letter of intent to jointly develop Covaxin for the U.S. market. However, an emergency use authorization in India doesn't mean that Covaxin is a slam dunk to win EUA in the United States, but more importantly, neither Bharat nor Indian regulators revealed the efficacy of the vaccine. So that is something we need to keep an eye on, because if those numbers come out better than expected, this could only be the start of the run for Ocugen. Now, the article does remind us that Covaxin does not have an advantage in terms of dosing compared to Pfizer's and Moderna's vaccine because it requires 2 doses. But in December, it says Ocugen stated that had put together an advisory board of leading academic and industry experts to evaluate the clinical and regulatory path to approval in the U.S. market. The next key catalyst for Ocugen could be the announcement of details of the plan to win emergency use authorization for Covaxin in the U.S. market. Now, in other news, Ocugen stated from their last shareholder meeting a proxy amendment will modify the proposed amendment of the company's 6th amended and restated certificate of organization by decreasing the proposed aggregate number of shares of common stock that the company would be authorized to issue from 500 million to 400 million shares. Now, this news is great for shareholders because not only does the company get some much needed cash for future growth, but the number of shares that they're offering will be less, so there's going to be less supply on the market. Alright guys, well, I'm going to get right into the chart right now. This is the daily chart of Ocugen, ticker symbol OCGN. As we can see, we are a little late to this party if you are just noticing this for the first time today. But for the last couple of weeks, this thing's been absolutely exploding. You know, this thing exhibited one of my favorite trading patterns. Once the stock starts to scream higher, I like to try to wait for it for that first pullback to the 8-period exponential moving average. When it does pull back to that, that's when I like to enter it, and obviously this one you didn't have to wait very long for. The very next day, it exploded higher. So this one is in a very nice looking uptrend at the moment. As of right now, I do not own this stock. I'm hoping that it's going to pull back a little bit further because this price pattern, it looks very, very constructive. You got this huge volume that's coming in, moving into the stock, so that would tell me that the run is most likely not over. And of course, you got these other 2 green bars. When it did have up days, the green bars were higher than the red bars, or they were larger anyway, so there was more enthusiasm on the buy side than there was on the sell side. So that is definitely what you want to see in an uptrending stock if you are looking to enter it. Now, I don't know if you guys are too familiar with my channel or not, but I did put out a video on how to trade these low price stocks. This one is exhibiting that pattern absolutely perfectly. It has the very long base, then it has a decent move up accompanied by big volume, and then it pulled back for that quiet period. And then, surprise, surprise, a few months later, you get that price explosion. This is exactly what you want to look for if you want to be in one of those penny stocks that end up going on one of those huge runs. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video if you guys are interested in watching it, but it just shows you how to capture some of the biggest winners in these penny stocks. They almost always exhibit this characteristic where they have this long base, then you get a decent move up. I mean, this move up was pretty big. If we go back, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more on that move. I mean, get back to it a little bit. I mean, that was a pretty decent size move up. It went from under 20 cents to almost $1 in just a few days. That is a pretty big move up. But as we can see, if we go forward, the current move absolutely dwarfs that move, and this is when you get these really big winners, when you can jump into these stocks right around a quarter and then they scream up to over $3 a share. But like I said, I'll put a link to that video at the end if you guys want to get more familiar with this trading pattern on how to capture big winners in these very low price stocks. But let's go to the intraday chart real quick and see how this trend looks like on a shorter term basis. Okay, if we go to the 15-minute chart, you can see it had a nice looking, you can call this maybe a bullish flag. I think it's kind of long for a flag, but it could be a triangle consolidation. Whatever way you want to call it, this is a very constructive pattern that's probably going to show some continuation. You get the fast move up, and then you get the sideways move. It's only logical that the next move is also going to be up as well. If the move after the first high volume move, whether it's up or down, that's what you want to watch, is that consolidation period afterwards. If the consolidation period is weak, if it's going weak against that first initial move, it's only logical that the next move coming out of it is going to be the same direction that it came up into it. This is even more predictive on the downside, especially in a bear market. I mean, that's a topic for another video. But when you start seeing these triangle consolidation patterns after a sharp move up, what you want to do is be waiting for the next move to be up as well. And I like to enter that stock right around the 8-period exponential moving average. I like to be patient and wait for that entry. Sometimes it takes off without me, and that's just the way it goes, and I'll just move on to the next opportunity. I don't FOMO into stocks very often at all. But Ocugen is starting to move down. If it does pull back into this level, that's when I'm going to start being more interested in owning it. This is just too much risk at this higher level. I know lately we are in a period where stocks are just going absolutely crazy. So, I mean, lately you could probably buy this move and you're still being rewarded a couple days later. You know, perfect example right now is BNGO. That thing is just an absolute rocket ship. But that's my current thoughts on Ocugen. I think this trend is still very healthy, and I will probably be looking to enter this stock if it has a little bit more of a pullback, but I will keep you guys posted on that if I do enter this stock. Now, right now, I just want to go into a couple of nice-looking stocks that I have on my watch list that are forming some pretty good-looking patterns. So let's get into those. All right, well, the first nice-looking pattern I want to show you guys is of Great Panther Silver, ticker symbol GPL. As we can see, this one has had a decent move up from around 45 cents, and it started to top out right around $1, but it is starting to make a nice rounding bottom formation and looks like it could be heading higher. This one has all the characteristics that I like to see. Starts to go sideways, and then lows start to rise. And then it's going to start putting pressure on this upper resistance level, and hopefully we will get the breakout. Hasn't broke out just yet, but if you are thinking that the market could be going into a deeper correction, the metal and minerals stocks usually do a little bit better when the stock pulls back, so that could be why this one is starting to gain momentum. Probably contrarian investors are starting to pile into some of these stocks, but this is a very nice looking constructive pattern regardless of the financial outlook for the market or the, I should say, the short to medium term outlook for the market, this is a very nice looking constructive pattern. This is one that is definitely worth keeping on your watch list. Let's go to the 15-minute chart real quick. Now, if we go to the 15-minute chart, you can see that pattern even better, and it is starting to put pressure on this upper resistance area, and we can see that it is starting to level up. So this is one that we definitely want to keep our eye on, because this one could be punching higher real soon. If I zoom out just a little bit, actually, let's go to a weekly chart. If we go to a weekly chart, we can see that it had a little bit of a descending wedge formation, and it is starting to break out of it. So, of course, that is a very bullish pattern for the long term, and this is the weekly chart, so it's starting to pick up momentum on the long range chart as well. So this is a very nice looking pattern for Great Panther Silver. All right, well, the last one I want to talk about is SLRX. This is a pharmaceutical company, and this is another potential nice-looking swing trade that I am watching. If we look at the current action, let me zoom in a little bit. We can see that price has bounced up above all of these moving averages, and it is consolidating right now. This is an intraday chart, so it's probably going to move around a little bit more, but it's consolidating near the high of yesterday's bar, so that is a very good sign. If it can hold this area until these moving averages catch up to it, there's a very good chance you're going to get that slingshot move up. Now, of course, that is no guarantee that you're going to get a move up. As we can see, when it touched the 8-period exponential moving average on the previous move up, it looked like it was poised to scream higher, but unfortunately, it gapped down the next day and it negated that pattern, but it doesn't mean it can't make it again. And actually, this move right here could have cleared out a lot of this overhead resistance. If we had a lot of traders in there that were looking to capture a short-term swing move like I'm looking to do, chances are the weaker hands have already exited the stock, so this thing could be starting another move, and it won't have these players to grind through to move higher. So that could actually be a good thing if you haven't entered this stock yet. But I'm only going to be interested if the stock can hold this level, and then these moving averages can catch up to it and give it another boost up, just like it did a few weeks ago. But hopefully that move won't reverse quickly like that one did. But SLRX is a very nice looking pattern, and these pharmaceuticals, they can really get moving when they do get headed in that direction. They can really start moving fast. So always like to keep my eyes on the pharmaceuticals, but they are extremely volatile. So this actually isn't all that uncommon. When you get a move that is starting to gain momentum, then all of a sudden they'll yank the rug out from under you. It'll be like Lucy with the football and Charlie Brown's getting ready to kick it, and then whoops, you end up falling on your face. But that is the risk you take in the stock market. Not every one of them is going to work out. You just want to be in as many of these nice looking patterns as you can, and play the percentages, because when you get in these nice looking patterns, odds are more in your favor that they're probably going to continue moving higher than going down. But SLRX is definitely worth keeping on our watch list if it can keep up this momentum. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. I'm going to end the video right there. If you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please like the video if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. And until next time, take care everybody.